For 800,000 years, the galaxy had been at war. Not one war, not two, but an endless cycle of empires rising, clashing, burning, and collapsing. Entire species had been erased. Armadas of millions had been forged and shattered. From the ashes of one conflict, another always began. The Galactic Council existed not as a beacon of peace but as a weary tribunal of survivors. Their archives contained only bloodshed, their chambers haunted by the knowledge that no species had ever broken the cycle, until whispers began of a new race, hidden on the edge of the spiral arm. They called themselves humans. At first, humanity was ignored. Too young, too untested, too reckless. They were dismissed as primitives who would collapse under the same pressures that had broken countless others. Yet as human ships pushed outward, colony by colony, system by system, their name could no longer be avoided. When the ancient war between the Threx Dominion and the Cairn Ascendancy reignited, both sides sought allies. Desperate, the Council suggested something unthinkable: invite the humans. They are Deathworlders, protested Chancellor Vritan. Their history is nothing but blood. They will not bring peace, only more slaughter. But Councillor Dara, elder of the Lutheri, spoke what many feared. Perhaps that is what we need. A species born of war to end a war none of us can stop. Reluctantly, the invitation was sent. The humans arrived late. A single fleet of black-hulled warships entered Council space without ceremony. They were smaller than the galaxy's dreadnoughts, less ornate than the Ascendancy's golden cruisers. But they moved with a predator's precision. At their head was Admiral Jonathan Hale, a man with gray at his temples, calm eyes, and the kind of presence that silenced even the loudest chamber. "You've fought for 800 millennia," he said simply. "And you've all lost, over and over. My people don't fight that way." The chamber buzzed with outrage. "And what way do you fight?" demanded a Cairn warlord. Hale's lips curved into the faintest smile. "We fight to win." The galaxy soon learned what that meant. When the Threx launched their latest offensive, a swarm of 10,000 ships crashing down on Cairn worlds, the humans were there. They did not meet force with force. Instead, they split into dozens of strike groups, cutting supply lines, crippling shipyards, sowing chaos behind enemy lines. Entire Threx fleets returned home to find their fuel depots ash, their communications silent, their commanders assassinated. On the ground, human soldiers waged war like no other. Where other species balked at toxic swamps, burning deserts, or frozen wastelands, humans thrived. They adapted, improvised, survived. The Council watched in awe as centuries-long stalemates crumbled in months. And for the first time in recorded memory, the war began to end. At the signing of the armistice, alien leaders stared across the table at Admiral Hale. Many still feared the humans. Many still whispered of Terra, the death world that had forged such predators. One Ascendancy general spoke what all were thinking. "Why? Why help us end this? What do you gain?" Hale studied them, his expression unreadable. Then he leaned forward. "My people know war. We've fought it since before we could write history. We've fought each other, nature, extinction itself. And every time we survived. But we also learned one truth." His voice hardened. "Endless war destroys everything. If it comes here to the stars unchecked, then nothing will survive. Not you, not us, not anyone. So we end it. Now." Silence fell. For 800,000 years, no one had dared to speak such finality. But the humans had not asked. They had decided. In the centuries that followed, the galaxy remembered that moment. The wars did not vanish, violence never truly does. But the endless cycle was broken. The empires rebuilt, the Council strengthened, and a new kind of fear spread. Not fear of destruction, fear of disappointing the humans. For whenever the fires of war threatened to rise again, every species remembered the Deathworlders who had walked into an 800,000-year conflict and laughed at its futility. The galaxy had known only war, but humanity had given it something new: victory.